Hello, hockey fans. You're listening to Hockey by Northwest. I'm your host, Brendan Monroe. Thanks for joining me. I want you to listen carefully. There's probably a quiet sobbing sound you can hear somewhere if you're in central Alberta. That sobbing sound belongs to Jesse Wallin. He's the head coach of the Red Deer Rebels. And the reason he's crying audibly is because he just realized sometime this last weekend that Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, his star player, first overall draft pick in last year's NHL draft, and now a member of the Edmonton Oilers, will never, ever be playing another game of junior hockey. With 4 goals in his first 4 games, there is not a prayer that the Oilers send this kid down. I mean, he's on pace to break Teemu Selänne's rookie goal-scoring record. Yeah, there's a lot of hockey left. He's 4 games in, but it's been very positive for Nugent-Hopkins so far. He's picked up the 4 goals plus an assist, and he's been a real shining light on what would otherwise be a pretty dastardly poor Oilers roster. And they've found some chemistry on that line with Taylor Hall and Jordan Eberle. So things are looking good in Edmonton. Things are finally also looking good in Vancouver. They got off to a shaky first couple of games, and now the power play seems to be clicking. They've got a win on Saturday night against Edmonton. Thanks to that power play, and the Sedins look to be coming into form nicely. And the other great news in Vancouver is that Ryan Kessler is finally healthy. He's cleared to play, and he's set to go. So good things happening in Vancouver. Calgary, well, they had a kind of a shaky start to the season. They've played good at times. They've played badly at times. There's a lot of question marks still surrounding the Calgary Flames, but I expect them to be maybe a 500 hockey team, and that's what they've showed so far. Surprising rivals in the Northwest Division we haven't talked a lot about are the Colorado Avalanche, who got off to a 5-0 start. No one really expected that at all. I don't even know if they expected it, but there they are. They're leading the Northwest Division, and we'll see how long they can maintain that momentum. Also to keep in mind, we have the Winnipeg Jets getting their first win in the city of Winnipeg. Fans there are pretty excited to see them down the Pittsburgh Penguins by a score of 2-1 on Monday night. So people down in Winnipeg are pretty happy. And shifting gears to junior, I was able to make it out to the Coquitlam Express as they took on the Coastal Conference champions from last season, the Powell River Kings. And I got to say, there's a couple of scouts out to see that game. They were really interested in what Alex Kerfoot could do. Of course, Alex Kerfoot is the son of Vancouver Whitecaps owner Greg Kerfoot. The younger Kerfoot scored a little over 2 points a game in Major Midget last year. Now is playing on the Coquitlam Express's top line, and there's some interest. Scouts from the Florida Panthers, Detroit Red Wings out looking at him. And he didn't disappoint, got a goal and an assist and a come-from-behind effort. The Express were down 4-2 going into the third period and managed to rally, squaring a 4-4 draw out of the effort in a game they're completely overpowered in, outshot about 50-25, and they managed to get back in there and get the points on the board. So the Scouts should be happy with Kerfoot and look to see his name rising up the Central Scoutings, as he is not on this year's draft pool, but would be next year's draft, if memory serves me correctly. And speaking of the Powell River Kings, who I mentioned a moment ago, their head coach, Kent Lewis, is also the head coach of Team Canada West for the upcoming World Junior A Challenge to be held in Langley. That's coming up in a few weeks. That's pretty exciting. We're going to have some of the best Junior A players from across Canada, as well as some top-tier 18-year-old, 17-year-old junior hockey players from around the world. So if you're in the lower mainland area and want to check out some phenomenal hockey, head down to Langley. That tournament kicks off on November 7th. With Coach Lewis, I'm not really sure how he does it. He's always working with the Powell River Kings to keep them at the top of the standings where they are right now in the BCHL, and then he has all this Team Canada stuff to keep track of as well. So the guy's got a pretty full plate. He managed to spend some time with me last week. We did a quick interview for my Hockey Now magazine story, and the guy was sick. He wasn't even at the office. His staff told me to call him at home, and he obliged. So he's definitely committed to the game, definitely committed to his efforts with Team Canada, and it looks to be a promising squad that he's putting together right now. A lot of blue-collar effort expected from his lineup. He talked about when Team Canada beat the Soviets back in 1987, Gretzky and Lemieux were key members of that team, but the team members that got them back in that game were the Howard Chucks and Sutters and Tocchet and players like that. So that's the kind of effort he expects from his Team Canada West as we get ready for the World Junior A Challenge in Langley in early November. So that's it for now from around my neighborhood in the world of hockey. If anything else happens, I'll be sure to tell you. Thanks again for tuning in. You've been listening to Hockey by Northwest.